week 2 of our everything shop, how much it costs us, which includes all our snacks and our dinners and what we eat through the week and how we put it all together. If you haven't seen week 1 already, please go and check out that video because it explains the madness that is me. And I've got a brilliant idea the night before this all came about. So this video we have our grocery haul and then what we've eaten through the week and how it all works. I haven't focused so much on snacks this time, but you'll get a gist of things that are happening around. I also didn't film a closing at the end, sort of what we have left, because the next week kind of just rolled into it. So it is what it is. And when next week's video comes out, you'll see stuff from this week rolling over into next week. So I'm showing you sort of how that we shop with a stockpile and how things work that way. Week 2 of our grocery haul, and we have some things we need and some things to replace things and some things were on special. So let's just have a look. First of all, I was very lucky to pick up these potatoes, 2 kilos, marked down to $1.74. Potatoes are getting very difficult to find in the shops compared with what I used to buy. And I'm not really happy paying $2 a kilo. So we will keep looking for some bargains. If it means we have to shop elsewhere, then that's what we will do. Got the 2 kilo packet of mincemeat, so I'll be able to chop that up for some meals, some for this week and some to extend next week. We still have the taco shells left over from last week, so that will be handy. I got 2 lots of these satay chicken skewers. I'll pull the meat off and cook them. I've just realized now that I probably don't have a coconut cream to go with it, so I might have to get one of those, or we'll just have the chicken on its side. I just picked them up from the deli because they were marked down to 56 cents each. I got a whole thing of ham, 2 lots of muesli bars, standard UHT. I'm so glad that we had that last week as a backup because we ran out of all of our milk. It's only 3 litres worth. Some weeks we use more milk than others. Sour cream, I have that for some wedges coming up, and also hoping to make a chocolate cake. I got some yogurt because I figured something different for a snack, and also apparently yogurt you can use to make some naan bread, so that's on the list to check it out. 2 lots of oat milk, full cream milk. Got the Nescafe Gold, it was on special for $20. And all this is just mostly for a stockpile for the cupboard because I missed the last sales event. I missed the last sales cycle also at Woolworths, and probably the next sales cycle I won't be there in time to grab. So I just picked it up because I figured I had the budget for it this week. Farmers Union iced coffee, bagels, almond milk. I'm going to try this one instead of cow's milk for the smoothies that I have. We'll see how it goes. Cage-free eggs. I got more lasagna sheets, even though I got some, I think, in the last shop. I just grabbed them because we'll actually make lasagna this week with the mincemeat that we have. I've now suddenly realized that I didn't buy any tinned tomatoes. So this shop was actually 2 sort of separate shops that I did, and each one hasn't really supported the other, so be it. Self-raising flour, white sugar and plain flour. I want to do some baking this week, so I thought let's just use these and see how far I can stretch them. Chicken chips and original chips for hubby. I got some multigrain bread. We do get bread for the bread run, but we just needed bread to tide us over for a couple of days, so I got that. It was marked down as well, so if we don't eat it all, I can throw the rest in the freezer or make them up for sandwiches. Honey mustard simmer sauce, which is probably what I'll just use with those chicken satay sticks. The satay flavor is probably then irrelevant. I just got it because it was chicken, it was marked down, and I was curious to know how much it actually weighs. Puff pastry, I used the last lot, and we have all those apples still to use up, so I'll use them. I also have some sausages in the freezer to make sausage rolls with. I got a whole pile of bananas, and again 2 separate shops, so I got some bananas in one, and then I got some more I probably will have extra left over, but I can throw some of them in the freezer for smoothies, see how we go. Garlic aioli, we're nearly out, so I bought this to replace it. Taco seasoning mix, just so it's with the minced meat for this week to account for costs. We do still have one in the cupboard, but I want to keep that as a stockpile. Dark chocolate chips for making the cookies as well. I got some unsalted mixed nuts. These were only $14 a kilo, so I picked them up for snack. Lettuce, corn thins, these were on sale I think for like $1, so pick them up for a snack. Sweet potatoes, 88 cents, 1.5 kilo. Super happy with that. I will chop them up, some for stews, some for roasting. I'll throw it in the freezer for a bit of a stockpile. 2 bags of carrots, again, 2 separate shops. I think I was short $2 when I was adding everything up, and I went, oh, I know, I'll grab a packet of carrots. Can never go wrong with less carrots. I picked up 2 packets of the plant protein schnitzels, one to replace what we've already used, and then one as a stockpile because it's on special, and that will cover us for the next couple of weeks. Chicken nuggets to make sure we never run out. Frozen wedges for the sour cream, but also if there's a night that I'm not well and hubby and my son still want to eat, they throw that in the oven. 2 packets of wraps. We actually didn't even go through 1 full packet last week, so that's good. We'll have a little bit of a stockpile. So there's everything that I've got for this week. So sort of meals, sort of snacks, baking, got a few things covered. We've still got fish from last week and some other bits and pieces. So yeah, this week was a little bit of a fly by the seat of the pants. Next week's shop will probably incorporate some things that we need to buy to replace things we might have used from the house, but I'll record everything and we'll see how we go. So it's Monday today, which is public holiday, which means I get to get my baking on. I don't bake all the time. I do cookies often, but I thought I would make cinnamon scrolls because I've been seeing them all over my TikTok feed, and I thought, haha, how hard could it be? Famous last words. Let me give you a tip. My dough was super sticky because I didn't mix it long enough. You meant to mix it for a really good 10 minutes, and I thought I had, but I clearly hadn't. So I had to knead it quite a lot on the bench, and then I left it to rest, and I finally got this beautiful silky soft texture, so I'm super happy with that. I wish that I'd just taken a little bit more effort to roll it out into more of a square. I did watch a couple of YouTube videos as well on how to do it. And then this was the end result. Ended up with 10 scrolls instead of 12, but that's okay. They baked up absolutely beautifully. They look like tiles. And they fell apart when I took them out, but still put some cream cheese spread on them and they disappeared pretty quickly. Some people liked it without the spread and some ate it with. I've got a lasagna going for my eldest with a plant-based mix that I'd done. I've got the milk from the freebie from Flybuys from, I think it was last week. And I've got lasagna sheets just soaking in the hot water because it'll just make it a little bit easier. There's a little bit of mixture left, so I've just got one more lasagna sheet and I just rolled that up into like a cannelloni that she ended up eating during the week I made. They've got leftover white sauce. I found this fish in the freezer, so a bit of a use it up, and my son will just have standard chicken nuggets. I've got the potatoes that are here to make chips. And this is everything that we've got here. Of course, threw some carrots on the side. They're our favorite veggie. Cauliflower and broccoli for my eldest with her lasagna, and we've got the lettuce there on the side for a bit of a salad. It made enough for another lasagna, and yeah, this is that little like cannelloni. And for some reason I'm showing you salad with my fish. This is one of the lunches that I've been having pretty much all week. So I got the multigrain bread there. I've got the boiled eggs that I just smashed up with some aioli, what is it, mayonnaise or sauce, and had it in a sandwich with sliced cheese and lettuce. I don't have a sandwich all the time, but chicken and rice is a pretty standard dish in our house. So one of the satay sticks, this is 6 satay sticks. I pulled all the meat off because I was curious to know how much it weighed, because each stick was about 56 cents. So I wanted to know how much it would be if it's worth it, or to buy like a kilo of chicken, and it works out to be about the same price, so that's good. So I added some rice into mine with some veggies, and I had to make some more cinnamon rolls because they were so popular. The next night I've made a stew, and it was so good that I don't have an after, so I found some meat in the freezer. I've got some sweet potato that was in the cupboard, onion in the cupboard, carrots from the fridge, and I had this slow cooker packet from the cupboard. So I put it all together with some mashed potatoes. Got these baby red potatoes that were in the cupboard, and yeah, like I said, it must have been so good because there's no aftershot at all. It is what it is. And Wednesday evening, that's right, I had to go to Mum's house to help her. So on the way back, I did drop into NQR to pick up a couple of pasties because I just wanted something different for the children, seeing we were having that stew, and then they just had that with some homemade chips. Thursday, I take my mum food shopping, and I'm surrounded by temptation all the time. I was so tempted to get this for a just in case, but I decided no, we have enough stuff, but I've filmed it for a bit of inspiration moving forward. And then my dinner was this, had some chicken left over from this Tuesday night chicken and rice. I added in some veggies, and I found this little cup of rice thing in the cupboard, and here's future me to tell you what everyone else had. Thursday night, and I had a meeting that I had to leave at 5:30 to get there for 6. So I wasn't here for dinner. So hubby had the Herbert Adam pies with chips that he found bits and pieces throughout all the freezer. I just said to him, find what you can. No doubt my son would have had chicken nuggets and then the frozen chips. My daughter would have had a plant-based chicken schnitzel with chips and probably cauliflower and broccoli. Hubby said he really shouldn't have eaten 2 pies. He feels that his eyes were bigger than his belly, so he's not going to make that mistake again. But then he didn't need any extra snacks or anything like that, so he thought maybe next time he could have just reheated something down the track. Friday night, and I thought that I better finish using up that chicken, so we've just got the risotto pasta that's here. I've had it stockpiled for such a very long time. I will be sad when I actually have to pay full price. I've got the garlic and rosemary butter. Again, I got a markdown a long time ago. Some champignons. Got a little bit left over of last week's thickened cream, and I've got a new thickened cream to use up there. Champignons talked about, and the wine that's in the fridge. It takes us a while to go through this one. I'm pretty sure my daughter had a pasta with passata sauce because I can see that up the back, something I would have found. And no doubt my son had chicken nuggets and homemade chips because I don't have any footage of it. Saturday night we have burger night, which is pretty standard. Obviously my plate's off to the side because it's not in this shot. For some reason, my breakfast has made it back here again, which is just Weet Bix and bananas. And here is the shake that I have been doing each week, almond milk. Well, I've only done it for about 3 days because I used about 300 mils of each. And I am sorry to say I am not a fan of almond milk, but hey, I gave it a go. I'd rather the taste and just deal with the extra calories. I got given watermelon and half a rock melon by Mum cleaning out her fridge, so I've chopped that up and we've had that as a snack for fruit. Hubby had his ramen noodles, spicy noodles. He only has about one of these a weekend, so they last quite a while. And I hadn't got around to fixing up last week's cauliflower and broccoli that was in the fridge, and it was just starting to go a bit sad. So I chopped it all up and I just threw it in a bag, and I've thrown it into the freezer. Into the baking pantry, and I really need to get this cleaned out, but it's in line with everything else. You know what I say, wait your turn. And I wanted to make some brioche buns. We've had this in the cupboard forever and a day, so the yeast packet in here is not going to be very good. So what I did is I swapped it out for yeast that I already had, and I'm going to make some finger buns. So luckily there's 2 packets here of the flour brioche mix, so we'll just do one today and see how we go. I was really happy with it. I was really happy with the dough. I just needed to master how to actually roll the dough a little bit, but I did make sure I gave it ample mixing time, as you can see in the background. And here's my lunch today. Again, is just a smashed egg with the last bit of the chicken satay sticks and some lettuce in a wrap. pretty boring, but I love a wrap, honestly. Apart from a sandwich, it's the best thing. And then here's me just attempting to roll up these bread roll things. I need some more lessons. Put them to bed and had a little bit of a rest, and then I baked them in the oven. Oh, they look so good. And then I just iced them, and I did different hundreds and thousands, and then I did cinnamon sugar, although I've since discovered that the Baker's Delight have sugar with brown sugar mixed through it, or sugar with cinnamon. It's not just straight cinnamon sugar, it's a little bit too fine powder, so I'll know that for next time. And I made my standard 100 cookie recipes, and then I made cornflake cookie recipes for my mum. I actually used plant-based butter because I figured I really need to use it up, and I know that they'll still hold okay in this cookie recipe. It wouldn't work because the 100-gram recipe needs 500 grams of butter, so I didn't want to do 250 of plant-based and then 250 of regular butter, so I just did this for the cornflake cookies. Mum says she could taste the difference. I must admit I could too, but it's the last one. I won't be buying it ever again. I got it on clearance for like $2 or something. At least I've had a go. So that is the end of week 2, and pretty simple / boring week. Didn't even touch that mincemeat, maybe for the burger patties. That's about all I think we used. And then the rest of it kind of just sat in the fridge, and I deal with it next week. And everything else just kind of was a normal week. We're a pretty boring, normal, we're not normal, we're boring. I like boring. It's quiet and it's safe and it is predictable. We are just a very quiet. No, actually we're not quiet. We're chill. It is what it is. We don't do fancy food. There you go. So apologies too for any family members, because I know I have a lot of younger children that watch the channel that then say to parents, oh, Frugal Fun Mum made this thing, can you please make it for us? So apologies if you are now making cinnamon scrolls this week, but they are delicious and so easy to make. Just make sure that you whip the dough for a good 10 minutes, or just really knead it on the bench to get that silky smooth consistency. Thank you so much for joining with me. I look forward to seeing you next week for week 3, and please like, comment and subscribe, and you won't miss out on any more videos because we've got more coming up. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.